adult male. His advice was not to tell the authorities, because by definition that would be, as the Washington Times said, statutory rape. His advice was to ask if he was wearing a condom.
Right. I mean, I think that story, to avoid the squid ink of the left claiming that this is an anti-homosexual thing, tell the same story where it's a girl who's having sex with an adult man in a bathroom in a bus stop. I mean, that's the point here. And I liked your list at the beginning of all the problems Obama's had with the czars and appointees and cabinet nominees. But I have a slightly different list. You have Acorn encouraging and counseling these two actors, as it turns out, how to avoid taxes, how to bring Salvadoran sex slaves into the country, underage girls. You have all of Hollywood and media elites defending Roman Polanski for anally raping a 13-year-old, and now you have this guy who's written the introduction to queering elementary education. I mean, that is the issue here, and you mentioned Bill Ayers. Can't you just let kids be kids? No, they want to sexualize kids and forget the homosexual aspect of it. Just sexualizing kids generally and teaching them about how to come out or how to deal with homosexuality in kindergarten. It's monstrous what they're doing.
And there's more to this, Kirsten. I think this guy should be, first of all, he shouldn't have been appointed. It's a terrible vetting process because all of this information is out there. Secondly, he founded the group GLSEN. GLSEN, they sponsored this controversial conference, you know, where the issue of describing the process of fisting was put out. Well, yeah, but you don't want to hear it, but these are kids.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hate to agree with Ann, but I actually totally agree with everything that she just said. And I think that there is a real element on the left that unfortunately does allow for this kind of stuff and almost embrace it. And that, you know, and in a lot of it, you see it with a feminist groups doing it. If they, say this, like Ann was saying, say this had been a girl, you will have feminist groups actually arguing that it's okay because they want that girl to be a woman so she could have an abortion if she wants to have an abortion. So
should he be fired?
I find this very, very troubling. I don't think his explanation, I'm a little skeptical about it. He got caught, and so of course, this is what he said. I don't think that, you know, I think this is a really serious issue, actually, and that people do not take it seriously enough, and there's this attitude, especially because it's a gay man, a gay boy, that, you know, well, it's a boy, and so it's not that big of a deal.
I don't think it has anything to do with the orientation. I think this is about judgment. You know, he said, I don't buy this. He's saying 21 years ago, I should have handled this differently. 21 years ago, did we not know that pedophilia, which is an adult having sex with a child?
I guess what I was trying to say, Sean, is just that I think sometimes people take an attitude that, like, oh, well, you know, boys always want to have sex, and so it's not that big of a deal if a boy is having sex with somebody older or something like that. You know, that there's this attitude that's just incorrect. These are children, and he was in a position of authority, and this kid came and confided to him, and he had a responsibility to report it.
Well, and that's the point, and he didn't. Now, here's another question. So how do all these people, we got a guy, John Holdren, and I'll throw this back to Ann, who we lost on the satellite for a second, but Ann, it's a pleasure to have you back. But we've got Cass Sunstein.
Thank you, it's so good to be here.
We've got Cass Sunstein. Here's a guy that wants to ban hunting and also is a guy that wants to give lawyers to animals. We've got John Holdren, who has written about forced sterilization. You know,
Okay, let me get in before the satellite goes down, Sean.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to get back to Kevin Jennings. Forget what he did 20 years ago. I mean, a lot of people can do bad things and set themselves on the right path. I mean, not forget it altogether, but he hasn't set himself on the right path. This is another William Ayers. Has said recently at education conferences that he wants us to get to the day where people will hear, oh, they're promoting homosexuality, and people will say, oh, well, so what else is new? Who cares? This is his agenda right now. But on the bright side, I do have a solution for Obama. He could kill two birds with one stone. He can move Kevin Jennings out and put Roman Polanski in this position, which would satisfy the Hollywood left. And I think he could even move Kevin Jennings into that green job czar position. Isn't that open now?
All right, well, let me, what are we to make of this connection? He writes the foreword for a book. This is the Safe Schools Are. He writes the foreword for the book, Queering Elementary Education. And who else blurbs the book? but Bill Ayers, the unrepentant terrorist. What do we make of this weird connections that exist out there, Kirsten?
I don't know. Isn't Bill Ayers an education expert? It doesn't really seem that strange to me. I have to say that I think that
the guy that bombed the Pentagon.
I know how you feel about Bill Ayers.
Oh, okay.
But I think that in terms of the quote about him wanting to, we'll get to a day when people will say promoting homosexuality is okay. When I looked at it in its full context, what he was really saying was that people will just be tolerant, and that's what he meant by promoting homosexuality. He didn't mean like making kids be gay. He just meant to be tolerant of homosexuality, which is, I think, something we all embrace probably.
We're not talking. This isn't about sexual orientation. We're not even really discussing this. This is about judgment and about, is this the best qualified person and where's the vetting? Ann, let me throw this last question to you, because you have Cass Sunstein. He wants to give lawyers to animals and ban hunting. John Holdren has written about forced sterilization of women. We haven't even gotten to them tonight. Van Jones on top of it. And I'm wondering, what has happened to any vetting process in this country? You want to take a stab at that?
All right, well, you can judge Obama by the people he surrounds himself with. And I mean, this is what Democrats always do. They run, people vote for him because they didn't like Katrina, they were getting tired of Iraq, they were getting tired of Bush, and he looks like a pleasant young man. But then, he gets in, and look at the people he surrounds himself with. They weren't signing up for Kevin Jennings and Van Jones.
All right, guys, thank you. Good to see you. Appreciate it. And